you for tuning in to the special New Year's episode of sci-fi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Steve.
You too. Happy New Year, Joey.
So there have been a lot of people who have been pretty outspoken and who have made some pretty important contributions to gender equality in Hollywood and in sci-fi in particular this year. One person was Jennifer Lawrence. Earlier in the year, she wrote an essay for Leah Dunham's newsletter called Lenny, and where she talked about pay discrepancies between female actors and male actors. And it got a lot of attention. It was circulated on social media quite a bit, and just really kind of made a splash.
Emma Watson, who played Hermione in the Harry Potter franchise, continues her work as UN Women's Goodwill Ambassador, dedicating her time toward women's rights and gender equality.
Joss Whedon also has had a pretty big year. He's always been really amazing when it comes to writing strong female characters and female characters with a lot of depth, going back to the days of Buffy. And this year, his Avengers Age of Ultron had a couple of really great female characters. Also, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is continuing to do great things with female characters and just continues to develop those characters this season.
Charlize Theron takes a stand against gender discrimination when she fights to have equal pay to her male co-star in The Huntsman. So now we're going to talk about the top 10 most awesome female characters in sci-fi for 2015.
Yes. There were so many of them we could have included in this list, but we narrowed it down to these top 10. We'll be starting with number 10 and counting down to number 1. Our number 10 is Daisy Johnson on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's awesome for a lot of reasons, but we've seen her grow so much over the course of the show. And in this season in particular, because at the end of last season, she had sort of just figured out that she was an Inhuman, and she was really uncertain about her powers and kind of afraid of using them. This season, we see her really owning her power and her abilities and becoming a leader and really helping other Inhumans who are going through the same thing.
Number 9, we've got Supergirl, so Kara Zor-El. She's really awesome because, she has to get from under the shadow of her cousin Superman. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, she has to kind of fight some sexism going on because a lot of people are like, well, she's a woman, I don't know if she can really do it. But, and she starts out not having any idea how to be a superhero and then progresses through the season, becoming more and more badass and more empowered.
Number 8, we've got Jessica Jones, who's fantastic. She's a survivor of rape and of mind control, but she doesn't let her victimhood control her or define her. There is a point early in the season where she finds out that Kilgrave is sort of back in the picture, and her first reaction is just to run and get out of town, but she doesn't. She stays and she fights, and by the end of the season, she defeats him.
So number 7 is Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road. And what makes her awesome is that she saves a group of young women from a really bad situation, even though that means that she's going to have to give up any kind of power or high status or any kind of benefits she has from her high status role in this dystopian future society. So number 6 is Daenerys Targaryen. And the reason why that she's really awesome is because, well, she starts from kind of like victim-y beginnings. She's basically growing up being abused by her brother. But what's cool about her is that she overcomes that past, especially after her brother's death. And she overcomes that past. She becomes more self-empowered. She becomes a leader. She starts to have goals for herself and dreams for her own life and what she wants to do. She wants to become the ruler of the 7 kingdoms herself. So she sets out to make that happen. and she becomes self-empowered, but she's more compassionate, and because of her early beginnings, she has compassion for people that are slaves or in bad situations like she used to be. So when she goes and encounters other societies, she always frees all the slaves. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Number 5 is Peggy Carter from Agent Carter. Peggy is great in so many ways. And we've seen her before. We originally saw her in Captain America, the first Avenger. And we just get to see even more of her awesomeness on Agent Carter. She's really great because her story takes place in the 40s, where most of her male colleagues at the SSR treat her more like a secretary than an agent. No one really takes her seriously, even though she's sort of the most competent, smartest one there. And over the course of the first season, she really proves how awesome she is, and even her kind of like sexist 1940s male coworkers can't deny it by the end of the season.
So number 4 is Sarah Connor from the Terminator franchise. Now she is the mother of the Resistance. In the original, she trains John Connor, who becomes the leader of the Resistance, and helps them to defeat the evil Skynet. Now, in Terminator Genesis, which came out this summer, 2015, the timeline is changed around a bit. So when she gets her Terminator, she's only 9 years old. So by the time she meets up with Kyle in later years, she already knows what she's doing. She's already trained to defend against Skynet, and she's pretty badass.
Number 3 is Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2, which came out this fall. She really steps into her role as a leader in new ways. She comes to the conclusion that replacing Snow with Coin would really just be replacing one dictator with another, and so she really figures out what it is that she's been fighting for all this time.
So number 2, we chose General Leia, and she's freaking awesome because she was an iconic female hero even in the late 70s. She was the feisty and strong-willed Princess Leia, who had a strong leadership role for the Rebel Alliance. And now today, she's back in Star Wars The Force Awakens as kind of the motherly and wise General Leia, giving support and advice to her people.
And finally, our number 1 pick is Rey from Star Wars The Force Awakens. Of course, it's amazing to finally have a major female Jedi. It's something we've been kind of wanting for a long time, so it's really great to finally have that. Rey is really great because she's really independent. We first see her on Jakku. Her family has left the planet. We're not sure why yet, and she's still kind of there on her own, but she's making her way on her own, and she's beating up people who come at her, and she's saving droids and doing all of this totally on her own.
Thank you for watching this episode of sci-fi. We just wanted to say Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year!
We look forward to more strong women in 2016. If you like this video or any of our other videos, please subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.